Hey there, everyone. So this live stream is going to be really different than pretty much anything else I've done on this channel yet, and that is because we're actually talking about an athlete, a professional athlete, and most specifically, we're talking about his post-fight news conference. So, um, first and foremost, I am not, repeat, not a huge boxing or MMA fan. Um, I guess I got casually introduced when Conor McGregor was going up against Floyd Mayweather for the boxing thing. Certainly tuned in for that, and really haven't watched much of it before or after. That said, my daughter is into MMA, actually trains and is quite good at it. So when the big fights come up, it's one of the ways that we stay connected. We text each other and see what's going on. So I certainly knew the fight was going on. We were texting when Conor took him out in 40 seconds. And I was shocked by that because, again, I don't know, but I assumed this cowboy guy was, a much better opponent than that. And he was. But what I did is the next day, I wanted to tune into the news conference because, again, I was working out. I got nothing to do while I'm running on the treadmill. So I wanted to see, I expected to see this very cocky individual basically saying, I am the world. Nobody can touch me. I'm the baddest. Bring on Floyd. Blah 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 blah. That's what I expected to hear because all I'd ever known of Conor is pre-fight Conor when he's going out on the road and he's trying to talk up and get the buy-ins for this pay-per-view. So I've learned 5 things by watching that interview, the post-fight interview, and they all shock me, and I'm impressed. I will say again, not an MMA fan, not a boxing fan, not really even a Conor McGregor fan. It's just these things shocked me enough for me to be thinking about it 24 hours later. So let me share them with you. First and foremost, there is pre-fight Conor and post-fight Conor, and I share these because we can all think about this in our own business world, right? There's like in sales, there's when you're selling the deal and when after the deal's done. You're researching and buying a house, and then you're done, right? All of us have this, whatever we choose to do in our profession, right? There's when you're putting in work, and then when the work's done. And to see Conor so professional, respectful, the fact that he went up personally and hugged his opponent's grandmother. Apparently, the opponent's grandmother comes to all of his fights. Conor knew who she was, made it a point of going to see her, congratulating her and thanking her for raising such a nice man. Just to see that, to have that come to you after being in a highly competitive situation is not something I expected. And I'm still floored by the fact that he did that. And then to hear how eloquently he talked after the fight about being disciplined and the sport and all of that. I just think it's amazing. And all of us can take something from this, right? When we're in the hunt for a deal or in the hunt for a property or, in the hunt for a sale, there's one way. And then when the deal's done, we just know and act differently. We got to respect the game, respect the hustle, all of those things. So that was the first thing I got. And again, the fact that he was cognizant in the middle of a ring where his life was on the line to click over and go pay respect to his opponent's grandmother, I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. So that was one. Number two, he talked a lot about discipline, right? There was a lot of people asking him questions, basically prompting him to say that he's the greatest, right? Or he's this. Basically, let the ego run, and he wasn't taking the bait. He was basically saying, no, it's about putting in the work, knowing what you're doing. He tried to, as you'll see with my next point, he tried to cut corners on other things and not respect the process, and he got what he deserved. But he did everything right this time. He put in the work. He disciplined. He watched his weight. He had a nutrition, and he's like, hey, you guys saw me in the octagon today, but you weren't out there, with me daily as I was putting in work. for this. And he's like, you know, you want to be great at anything, put in the work. And again, I took from that going, gosh, how many times do I tell people that I'm talking to about go learn your market? Go look at your market every day. And people wig out. It's like, oh my God, I can't do it. I got kids. I got a job. Find 10 or 15 minutes. Um, I did it. I woke up early. I do have the luxury of being a morning person. Some of you are night owls. Do it at night. Now you can do them on your phone. I had to do everything from a computer back in the day. So um, do the work. It doesn't have to be a lot, but 10 or 15 minutes a day, do the work. Do the work enough times so that you can feel the rhythm of your market, and the rewards will come. Just as kind of Conor said in his presser. Number three, there's no shortcuts. He went on a pretty good talk track around why his you know why this could have gone the wrong way, and he tried to shortcut the process and not respect it, and and that would have um, not ended well for him, right? He talked about his last bout. I guess he was drinking every day. I'm guessing alcohol, right? The Irish whiskey that he sells or whatever it is. And he's like, no, not this time, right? I've learned my lesson. I got to go after it. I have to do the work. It has to be consistent. I have to be disciplined. So, again, the whole fact that there's no shortcuts really spoke to me. I don't know why it did. Maybe just because I was at a gym, maybe. But again, hearing a professional who's made 9 figures. I don't know that he kept 9 figures, but he made 9 figures. Um, to tell you there's no shortcuts to greatness is, I think, something we all need to hear. And if you're looking for the easy route or the magic pixie dust, it's not there. You got to put in the work. If you're looking to find good and great deals like I talk about all the time, it's it's not magic. It's consistent execution in the face of bad data, right? That most of the stuff's not good. It's average or bad. So it takes a while to figure that out, and then you can go find good and great deals. Number four, somebody else said this. I think it was Joe Rogan. I think this was Joe Rogan. Basically, was, can Conor, who's now a rich man, can Conor, the rich man, train like a poor man? And I didn't really get that until I heard Conor talk after the fight. And he's like, yeah, basically, yes, he has some money, and he is now rich or wealthy. I forget which word he used. But the whole idea that he had to put that away, he had to go to those dark places in training to make sure that, he was, iron sharpens iron, and that he would be ready to take on this opponent who could have ended him quickly, was interesting. Again, Joe Rogan, I think, gets the credit, right? Can a rich man train like a poor man? And to hear Conor sort of didn't say those words, but to say, yeah, you've got to go back at it. You got to train like the old way, like nobody's watching and nobody knows your name, and just keep going. So, once you get a little success in business, maybe in sales or in real estate or any of these things, you got to remember what got you here. Um, I still need to remember that. You guys see my weekly goals that I report Sunday. One of them is how many offers I've made out of the MLS, multiple listing service. I built, I don't know, whatever it is, 95% of my wealth on deals out of the multiple listing service. And it's because I was making lots of offers. But if you've been following my weekly goals, I haven't been hitting my targets. I need to do a better job. And part of this might be that I'm getting lazy and I'm not doing what I used to do. So to hear Conor talk about this is pretty cool. Hi. Somebody just sent me a, what do you call this, text or comment or something? How you doing? So to hear Conor talk about that was it was something I had to hear. And just because you've had some success, don't get full of yourself. Do the work, do the work, do the work. I thought that was pretty special. So I love to hear that. And then the last one, you could see it in Conor when he was talking. And again, I don't know MMA. I don't know boxing. I'm not even a Conor McGregor fan. But when somebody loves what they do, you can see it. He loves what he does, and he's really good at it. And you can see, right, when if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's an old cliche term, But as I'm watching him, probably 20 minutes into a 30-minute press conference, when the fight was 40 seconds, right? And I don't even think he got hit. Um, it just goes to show you that, he really enjoys, it's not necessarily the fight, but he enjoys the preparation and testing his mental fortitude. And I wanted to share all of this because while Conor may be going into a competitive situation where the other person can legitimately kill him, we're all doing battle in our own way. Whether it's trying to learn real estate, whether it's trying to sell stuff, whether it's running a family business, whatever it is, we all have to put in the work. We all need to realize that iron sharpens iron. We need to be disciplined. But if we can find a way to love what we're doing, you could just see him. He was happy. And that's my biggest takeaway is he was happy. Yes, I'm sure some of that was because he won. I assume if he didn't win, he wouldn't be as happy. But I still think he would have been respectful. I still think he would have been. What I think it's just amazing. These 5 things I learned. Again, I don't know the guy. I only know the name because my daughter watches MMA, and I'm trying to have a sporting event that her and I can talk about. But watching his press conference was pretty eye opening. So we'll see what happens from here for him. But I thought it was pretty interesting, and I know I learned a lot just by watching that. So let me know what you think. Did you watch the fight? Are you a Conor fan? I'd love to hear from you. Leave comments below. If you watched the press conference that I'm referring to, let me know what you think, because there were so many things he touched on that I think applies to real estate, applies to business, applies to being an entrepreneur. So let me know what you think. Have a wonderful day. Take care.